I'm going to present you my latest module, the Battle. The Battle is a 2-channel mixer based on the battle mixers from the hip-hop scene. So that means it has a crossfader, which is really important for scratching, and a curve. A curve means that how sharp the edges where the sound kicks in from the side. So now you don't hear anything. So in the beginning you heard a little bit the record player, and now I'm going to move the fader a little bit and you will hear the drums. So you see it's really sharp edged. So I can change the curve from very sharp on the edges to more like a linear to really sharp at the other side. So that's the main feature of the curve. Then the battle mixer is not just a regular 2-channel mixer, but it has a lot more because it's made for Eurorack. So it has CV inputs, and it has even CV and gate outputs, which is also quite nice for a mixer, I think, in my opinion. So I will show you all the features. So I just said about the crossfader. Then it has a VCA, a voltage controlled amplifier, on the overall sound, bass and treble EQ. So just a 2-channel EQ, which is to shape the sound a little bit. So you can turn back the bass, kick in more bass, and the same you can do with the highs. And it has, let's put it back, and has gain inputs for input A and gain input for gain for input B. Then the CV inputs are corresponding to the crossfader, the VCA, the bass and the treble. So I can show you a little bit. I will first start with a little bit scratching. I'm a really bad scratcher, so let's just try it out. So I will start the record, and I will set the curve to the side. So now it's a sharp curve on the left side. So as you can hear, I have to practice a lot. But because I'm a bad scratcher, I thought it might be nice to modulate it with a top tempo LFO. So I added CV inputs. So I now will put a CV input in the crossfader modulation. The trimmer is set to 0. If I open up the trimmer, you will hear the ducking of the drums. And when the ducking, so basically now the top tempo LFO is doing what you can do if you are a good scratcher. So if I make it faster. The same as it has a CV input for the voltage controlled amplifier. That one is only end on the overall sound, so I will put it in now there. Open up the trimmer, and it's exactly on the rhythm. So now the drums is ducked in volume by the LFO. It's just like any regular VCA basically, but also now with the crossfader sent to the right. So I can do faster. That's basically what the VCA trimmer does, the CV for the VCA. Then I also have a CV for the EQ, so CV for the bass. So you'll hear, I'll put it slower. And I will put the bass EQ is open and closed by the CV input. And the same I can do with the hi-hats, so I will add more hi-hats. So you'll hear more and less hi-hats. And then I have two gate outputs and a CV output. For me that was really important to get on it. So you see two LEDs here, and when I move the fader you will see the change from the LED from left to right, and you will see it's exactly in the middle now. And that's because this position knob is in the middle. I can put it completely anti-clockwise and you will see it's straight at the edge here, and if I put it here it's straight at the edge here. These gate outputs are used, for example, for triggering a sample. I'm going to record a little scratching in the sample slicer and then use that as a sound source for the battle. So I put out the channel from the preamp into the sample slicer, the output from the sample slicer into input B, and I'm going to record something. So let's just see, let's check, let's hope that there's something nice coming out. Not yet. I made a little mistake, but there is sound in the sample slicer. That's the most important thing. I had that the switches on the sample slicer. The switches on the sample slicer was on sample, and it should be on auto to hear what you're recording, but that's that aside, I was not focused on that. So now there is a scratch sample in the sample slicer, and I want to trigger it with the battle. So I'm going to put one of the trigger outputs, the gate outputs, into the gate input, and you will hear. So it re-triggers every time the right LED is on. It triggers the sample slicer. And for the rest, everything in the battle works the same. So you can play a lot around with it with different things. So if I change the curve, so that's how I really like to use the sample slicer in combination with the battle. Then there is a CV output, and the CV output has a little switch next to it, and that I will show you in a second, because the CV output is linear from the fader, so it is not connected to the curve, it's just completely independent. And that means that here it's 0 volt, and here it's a voltage you can set on the back, so you can change it. And now you hear it's low here and high there. So here, then the switch comes in hand. That now it's low here, high here. That's so you can play the pitch, but you can use it for any other thing you want. You can, for example, use it for modulating a delay, the delay time or anything. And that's a next thing, a delay, because I have effect loops in the battle. So I will put the output of loop B into a delay, Pico DSP on delay mode, and I put it back. So set back the curve here, and you will hear a delay on only on the sound on channel B. So I can now, for example, use the CV output to modulate the delay time, and you can split the CV output to use anything on the sample slicer or whatever you want. So it's really a module for experimental patching, and it's not just a mixer.